were you ever on a team where you were competing with the coach's kid? And it didn't matter how terrible they were.
Yeah.
If the coach's kid wanted to be the pitcher, guess who was the pitcher? The coach's kid.
Yep.
So imagine like if Bronny goes to the Lakers and you're like Dalton connects and you're like, listen, I actually had a good career in college, but this guy's getting more playing time than me. It has to be super frustrating for whoever's on the team with Bronny. And it's not his fault, but I feel like we've all been there, have we not?
Oh, yeah. I'll never forget because when I was in high school, and of course, when you're in a small town in West Texas, football dominates, right? And if you played football, you absolutely got preferential treatment because you wanted to keep the football players happy. And a lot of these guys were very good athletes. They played multiple sports. But I was playing basketball my junior year, and football season had already started, and I was a starter on the JV team, and we were undefeated. And I remember the football guys finally came in after the season, and the coach goes, "Man, I want to tell you something. You're not just going to walk on this court and automatically start. You see these guys on the court right now?" And I'm standing there at wing. He's like, "These guys haven't lost a game. They're undefeated. So if you want to play, you're going to have to earn it." Next game, we won, and I was on the bench for the majority of the season after that. It just immediately, I went from a starter, undefeated, leading the team in scoring, and I wasn't some crazy scorer. I don't want to overstate it, but we were doing great. And then I was riding the pine and getting like a couple minutes a game like that, just because it's like, hey, and they were great. They were great athletes. I don't mean to imply otherwise, but immediately they were in.
I was on a team where the girl that was the coach's kid was my age, and she played the same position as me. And she could do no wrong. Eventually, she switched to shortstop. And then I was pitching, and then a ball would be hit up the middle, and it would go between her legs. I'm like, well, that ball was hit really hard. And her grandma would be keeping the scorebook. So guess what it was? It was a hit. It was not an error. And this went against me and my ERA. So it was maddening to watch this happen. But you would think that this is something that only happens, at high school level max. But now it's going to be happening in the NBA. Like, imagine the predicament when you're the head coach. And I just remembered that JJ Redick is the head coach of the Lakers.
Yes.
Who I guess he's used to this because he has been coaching 8 and under boys basketball. So maybe it's not that big of a leap after all.
Maybe it's not. Also, did you see JJ Redick's press conference where he's dropping all these F-bombs? Like, what is he doing?
Oh, no.
That was so lame.
God.
Fine. I mean, I don't care. It doesn't particularly offend me. But I know some people are like, "Oh, this is so refreshing." Well, be a pro, man. Just be a pro.
Refreshing. It's not like the F word is new.
Well, it's not new, but certainly hearing a head coach at his press conference drop it multiple times is not something we see on a regular basis at all. Like, we never see that unless a coach is really fired up about something. And I thought, you know what? Maybe just settle down a little bit there, buddy.
No, he's trying to get some street cred. I think everybody thinks of him as like the shooter from Duke in clean cut. And he's like, I need some street cred in the NBA. Well, you still don't have it just yet. You are coming from 8 and under boys basketball and podcasting. So maybe this was his attempt at getting some street cred. You think?
I guess. I don't know. Maybe he's just trying to. Yeah, I guess you're right. Maybe so he has a bit of an edge, but that means nothing to me. Like getting in front of a bunch of reporters and dropping an F-bomb. Like, what does that mean? It means nothing. What, you know how to curse? Awesome. You're a grown-ass man. See, look. See how easy that is to do? Like, who cares? Like, are you going to be a good coach or not? Be a pro. You want to impress me? Go out there, be a pro. Coach the Lakers to some wins. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll definitely see about JJ Redick, and we will see about round 2 of the NBA draft. So we've kind of touched on this. Bronny James Jr. or Bronny James. I guess he's not a junior if you call him Bronny. But he is expected to go either in the second round or I guess it would be after that. But I do think he goes. Somebody's going to get him. But the other storylines we're looking at here are, okay, so who are the best players left in the draft? Is somebody still up for a trade? Jenks, let me ask you this. Do you think we will see drama in round 2 of the NBA draft?
The only drama we'll see is if someone outside of the Lakers drafts Bronny. And then because LeBron, I believe, is opting out of his contract so he can re-sign, then the thought will be, oh my God, is LeBron going to leave the Lakers? But would that make any sense whatsoever? Seriously, when the guy LeBron does a podcast with was just hired, it wouldn't make I think this is just LeBron getting more money, which I would too, but ultimately it would make a whole lot of common sense for the Lakers to hire J.J. Redick, LeBron's guy, and then for LeBron to leave. And then at the same time, look, let me clear the air. Let me just push my feelings aside about Bronny James. If we're just talking about basketball talent, it wouldn't make a lot of sense for me for Bronny to go high in the second round. Frankly, there are just better players out there. And do you want to draft someone who hasn't worked out for you because he has only worked out for the Suns and Lakers and then have to contend with his agent and LeBron? It's not worth the mess for the talent involved. That's just the way it is. So unless you're really sold on him, and we haven't heard that at all. By the way, it's something that's subtle, but it's worth mentioning. Whenever you see an article about Bronny James, there have been a couple on ESPN leading up to the draft. Who is the only person quoted in those articles? It's his agent. You don't see any NBA executives, anyone who watched him work out saying we like this. No, it's only his agent. Of course, the one person on the planet who has a vested interest outside of LeBron in making sure that LeBron's son goes where he wants to go and that you build him up and talk about his reputation and his game. So I just can't imagine Bronny going anywhere outside of LA. If he does, that will be chaos.
It does feel wild how little control Bronny has over his future. Because I was also thinking about this. Do you think there is a chance that a team drafts him, not because they want him, simply because they could force a trade with somebody? Like use him as a trade chip?
Well, they could, but then the problem is this. It could happen, right? Some team decides to get sneaky and they say, all right, let's draft Bronny. Let's see how bad you want him. But then what are the Lakers willing to give up for someone who is just not that great of a basketball player? He could be. Maybe he will be. But there's a reason why he's projected to go late in the second round. Take the name off the back of the jersey. If you go late in the second round of the NBA draft, your chances of succeeding are very, very low. So what if a team takes a chance on Bronny and then the Lakers say, yeah, we want him, but we're trying to build. LeBron has a couple years left, so we want them to play together. We're going to give up everything just so these guys can play together? What if they say no, and then you're stuck with a player you didn't want to begin with? I don't know. That's a dangerous game to play.
Yeah, it's a game of chicken, for sure.
It is.
I've kind of built down the NBA draft. I'm not somebody who super follows it. But this year, it does feel like this is the most intrigue we've had in round 2 of the NBA draft in a long time. Because, Jenks, will we ever have this situation ever again? Like, it feels like this is the wildest scenario because I don't think it's ever happened. Have we ever had somebody like this where somebody was, like, bullying their way? Like, the only thing I can think of was the Ball brothers. Remember when LeVar Ball was like, yeah, my son's going to the Lakers. This is the only team he will go to. And somehow it happened. So maybe that's the only like closest example I can find.
Yeah.
But I will say it makes round 2 of the NBA draft actually interesting.
It does, which is exactly why they're televising it, or one of the reasons the NBA wants to draw this out as long as possible. It really is the only intrigue. Sure, I'm sure there's some people out there like, oh, I can't believe Kyle Filipowski fell to the second round. He'll go high in the second round. He probably will. But we spent an entire segment, not wrongfully so, talking about Bronny James. He is the story in the second round of the NBA draft. So I would be stunned. If I'm an NBA executive, as much fun as it might be to say, I'll draft Bronny and play chicken with the Lakers, if it doesn't work out, you just can't waste a pick on someone you don't believe in, especially when he hasn't worked out for you. I think the only sabotage factor is the Suns choose before the Lakers, I believe. I need to double check, or maybe they don't. Do they have a pick before the Lakers? Oh, maybe they don't at all. So if he's only worked out for the Suns and Lakers, and you got the Lakers at 55, then, the Suns are at 56. Okay, the Suns are right after the Lakers. I would say if the Suns were right above the Lakers, you might say, okay, he worked out with Phoenix for a reason. So that just makes me believe, now that I know the Suns are after the Lakers, it's going to be Bronny at 55. Will I stay up to watch it? Absolutely not.
I do find it funny that it was the Lakers who got bullied into drafting someone's son by their belligerent father. Like, will we see history repeat itself? And let me ask you this. Who was the better hype man for their son? LeVar Ball or LeBron James?
It's LeVar. It's not close. Say what you want to about LeBron and Bronny, and I've said plenty, but LeBron is not out there on every outlet saying he could beat Michael Jordan like LeVar. Oh, my God. I'm just so glad those days are over.